Welcome and namaste. My name is Cheryl and this is Kim. And we're here to practice yoga together. This class is about a 30-minute class. It's specifically designed for people who are living with Parkinson's disease at any stage. I'm going to be offering you some foundational practices today, sitting, standing, and at the end lying down. And Kim will be showing you some ways you can adapt in a chair. So first, let's begin by sitting comfortably. And we'll talk a little bit about the breath, because breath is very key to the practice of yoga. It's one of the aspects of bringing energy into your body and then sending it back out. So also the cool thing I like to think about breath is that it helps us kind of gauge where we are in the moment. So if you notice right now how you're breathing, are you breathing fast or slow? Is your breath shallow or deep? And there's no right or wrong answer, but it's a nice, interesting way to observe how you are in this moment. So just feel your breath. You can even close your eyes and become aware that you're breathing. And for the practice of yoga, we'd like to invite in fuller, deeper breaths. The more oxygen we can bring in, the more we energize the body, the better we end up feeling. So as you inhale, invite the breath to come down deeper into your lungs. Even invite your belly to expand a little bit with your inhalation. And then when you exhale, you can feel the belly drawing back towards your spine, lightly. No straining. Okay, so we inhale, we bring the breath in and down. And the exhalation is a nice, slow release. Inhale all the way down to the base of your lungs and try to fill your lungs also up towards your collarbones. You get this sense of fullness inside. And then with the exhalation, just gently let it all go. And we'll take a few more rounds of this full yogic breath. And let your breath be slow and as steady and smooth as you can make it be. With each inhalation, bring in a feeling of wellness. And with each exhalation, let go of any stress or tension in your body. Bring in a sense of ease. And let go of any negativity. And throughout our practice today, we'll try to maintain a little bit of breath awareness. Yoga is the union of the body, the mind, the breath, and the heart. So for this first class in our series, I'd like to talk a bit about foundations. And you think about when you're building a house, you have to have a really strong foundation, because if you start to build on top of a weak foundation, you don't end up with a very strong or well-built home. So in yoga, often our foundation is going to have to do with our feet or the parts of the body that's touching the floor. So let's start by just talking about the four corners of the feet. So if you think of your foot like you're wearing a roller skate, you can think of the four wheels of the roller skate as four corners of the foot. The first one will be the mound of your big toe. So it's not the toe itself, but the ball of the toe. And then the second corner is the inner edge of your heel. Third corner is the mound of the pinky toe, little toe. And then the fourth corner is the outer heel. So when you're sitting or standing and you have your feet flat on the floor, you want those four corners to feel weighted evenly. So let's try that. If you're sitting, come on up to stand. Or if you're sitting in the chair, you can stay in the chair. And let's feel those four corners of the feet. So just bring your awareness into the mountains of the big toes. Like really push them down into the earth. And then keep pressing the big toes down. Reach back and shift some weight into your inner heels. And then try to stretch your little toes forward and out. And so you can put more weight on that third corner, the outer edge of the foot close to the little toe. And then draw back to your outer heel. And then close your eyes and feel your feet. Like they feel broader. You might feel the arch in the center of your foot is lifting a little bit. And that's our basic foot foundation. Now, if you look down at your feet, you want to also line your feet up so they're parallel to each other. So if we stand with the toes turned out, it tends to crunch up the low back a little bit and rotate the thighs. So we want the feet as parallel as we can get them. And generally, you want your feet as wide apart as the front hip bones. So if you put your hands on the ilium here and you feel the part that pokes forward a little bit, you want to go straight down through the center of your knee, down to your ankle, and down to about the place between your second and third toe. And that's a really great distance for your feet in many of our standing postures. And we call this mountain pose. So just gently tone your legs. Arms are down by your sides. Take a deep breath. Fill your lungs all the way down to the bottom, all the way up to the top, and draw your shoulders slightly back. And when we take the tops of the arms back, we open up the space around the chest. That makes it easier to breathe fully, and it helps us align with really good posture. Just breathe there. A couple full deep breaths in and out. And then notice the placement of your head. Right, so often we get the whole spine aligned, but the head might be a little bit forward. So just imagine someone was lightly pulling back on your ears so that your ears line up more in line with the tops of your shoulders, and keep your chin parallel to the floor. Now you're in excellent standing posture. Everything is centered. You should be feeling pretty steady, balanced, and even all around. Now moving with the breath, on an inhalation, reach your arms out to your sides and up overhead. And then turn your palms away from each other, and with your exhalation, release your arms back down to your sides. Nice, we'll do that a few times. So moving with the breath is key to yoga. Whenever we're reaching up, pretty much that's going to be on an inhalation. And then whenever your arms are coming back down, that's usually happening on an exhalation. So just stay with your breath. Go at your own pace. You might breathe more slowly or quickly than I do, and that's perfect because you're your best teacher. You need to listen to your body sensations. Anytime you feel any kind of pain or discomfort, that's a signal that something's out of alignment. You probably need to back off. Okay, one more time, reach up. And exhale, bring your arms down. Nice. So let's talk a little bit more about integrating the shoulders. So this is a kind of a fun exercise to try. First, just do the slouch. Yeah, you don't have to exaggerate it, so much. But, a lot of times we walk around, I'm exaggerating, but we walk around in a little bit of a slump, a little bit of a slouch, and the shoulders come forward and the head comes forward. And while this kind of feels kind of comfortable, your car and your couch are designed to have you sit kind of in this position. It's rounded, and over time, gravity, increases the curve in the upper back, and we start to feel low back pain from standing with this kind of posture. So let's fix it. From your hips, push your feet down into the floor. Push down into all four corners of your feet. and then lift up through the chest. Take a deep breath, lift up through the heart. Now, take your arms out in front of you, and imagine you were plugging your arm bones back. So the top of the shoulder moves back. Good. And then let's reach up with the arms. And now you might feel a little more open throughout the upper body, throughout the chest. Push down into your feet, reach up through your fingertips, and hold. Hold the pose, don't hold your breath. Keep your breath flowing. Your arms are getting tired because you're using a lot of energy to keep them up. And then gently release down. So in a lot of the standing and seated poses, I will talk about, taking the shoulders back. And part of it is anatomical. So the way your bones are lined up in the shoulder joint, let's try this, it's kind of fun. So let's take your right arm forward. Yeah, and without integrating the shoulder, just kind of reach your arm out in front of you and then lift it straight up. And you'll see how far it goes. Don't force anything. And if you're feeling any kind of pain here, just back off a little bit. Okay, then keep your right arm up. Now take your left arm straight out in front of you. Take the left shoulder up and back so it's really plugged in. And now lift up through your left arm. And notice that it goes farther back than your right arm did. It's like no matter how you try to get that right hand to go up, without forcing it, it's not gonna go, because when we take the shoulders up and back, we clear the bone structure, we open up into a more spacious place, and then we have greater range of motion. So that's important. All right, Kim, let's go into some other kinds of standing poses and seated variations. So the next kind of basic stance is a wide stance. I'm gonna move my blanket out of the way here. So for the wide stance, if you're standing up, you take your feet wider apart, and if you're in the chair, also just separate your feet. And we wanna keep the feet parallel to each other. So we're not turning the toes out, we're just keeping those feet nice and neutral. And that way you can anchor down into all four corners of your feet. Good. Tone your legs. Pull up from the soles of your feet. Draw energy up into your hips. And then from your hips, press down into your feet. It's just a basic foundational stance. From this wide stance, we can go into different postures. So let's start with Warrior Two. And we're gonna go to the right. So turn your right foot out 90 degrees. And if you're sitting, you can stretch your other leg out to the side. Yeah, good. All right, so if you're standing, you're gonna bend your right knee just till it comes over your ankle. If your knee goes past your ankle, that means your stance is too short. You should back up, okay? When you get the knee going past the ankle, it puts too much pressure on the knee. So you can move your other leg further back or just come up out of the hip a little bit. All right, now take a deep breath in, fill your lungs, lift your arms up to shoulder height, and look out over your fingertips of the right hand. And let's hold this for 3 deep breaths in and out. So it takes a little effort to keep your arms up at shoulder height, a little bit of work in the legs. You stay with it, and just remember, you're building a strong foundation for yourself. You come out of the pose on an inhalation. So we lift up and then lower your arms. And come back to neutral with your feet. Good, and then we'll go to the other side. So we always want to come back to that place where the feet are parallel first before we go to the second side. It's just safer, more secure that way. Now we'll turn the left foot out 90 degrees. Engage your legs and bend your knee right above your ankle. Now sometimes this knee will kind of cave in forward a little bit and you'll feel like pressure on your knee. So you want to aim your knee right out over the center of your foot. Take a deep breath, reach your arms up, look out over your fingertips. And as you breathe, you want to feel your torso is straight up and down. There's like a central channel rather than leaning to the side. We want to get vertical with the spine. Full deep breaths here in your warrior pose. And then on your next inhalation, lift up, release your arms, turn your feet back to parallel, and then let's bring the legs back in. We'll come back to our mountain position. And we'll pause and breathe. And it's nice in between different poses to just feel what's happening in your body, feel what's opening up, feel which parts are strengthening, which parts are stretching. And then do that check-in with your breath. Are you breathing fast, right? If your breath is rapid, then you're working hard. Maybe take it down a notch. Okay, and now we'll come back to our wide stance. We'll do another pose. This is called the side angle pose. So we come back wide with the feet. Start with your feet parallel to each other. And again, we're gonna go to the right, so we'll turn that right foot out 90 degrees and bend your knee. And if you're seated in the chair, you take the left leg further back. Okay, now bring your right forearm. Bring your right forearm to your thigh, left hand to your hip, and just feel into your legs first. Check that your knee is tracking out over the center of your foot. Now take your top arm forward, parallel to the floor, and let's plug the shoulder in, and then sweep your arm over your ear. So your palm is facing down towards the floor. Now, if this is too tight in the shoulder, you reach straight up. It's a good modification, or you're reaching overhead. Now, from your belly, stretch into your legs longer, and then grow your spine. Make space in between the vertebrae. Let's hold for one more full deep breath in and out. And then root down into your foundation to lift yourself up out of the pose. Very nice. Okay, let's switch to the second side. So change your feet. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left foot out. Bend the left knee. Right leg is long and straight. And we'll bring left forearm to thigh. Right hand to your hip. Take a breath here, just feel into your legs, feel the power and strength of your legs as your foundation of this pose. Let's take the right arm forward, plug your shoulder in, so there's that good shoulder integration. Nice, and then swing your arm up alongside your ear. And as you hold and breathe, you wanna feel shining out from the center of your body, extend out in all directions. Keep bringing in that sense of health and wellness. And on your next inhalation, let's come all the way up. Use your arm to help lift you up. Press into your legs, and then turn your feet back to parallel. We'll step back to our mountain pose. Once you find your mountain pose with your feet as wide as your hips, your legs are firm, arms down by your sides, close your eyes again. Come back to that neutral standing position, throat back, shoulders back. Steady with your breath. Beautiful. All right, let's try one more standing posture here. We'll do the goddess pose. And even for you guys out there, you got a little feminine goddess inside of you. So let's tap into that. All right, so we're gonna take our feet not quite as wide as before. And this time you're gonna turn your toes out just about 45 degrees. Not all the way out, but just part way. Good. And then if you're standing, bend your knees. And again, you want your knees right above your ankles, so you might have to adjust how wide your feet go. And what tends to happen here is we kind of get that slouch, and it kind of happens in the legs. Your knees are gonna wanna come towards each other. So you're gonna use your thigh muscles to press your knees out to the sides. Yeah, and you'll feel that. There's a lot of work happening in your legs, right? Now take your arms up and then bend your elbows out to the sides. We come into like cactus arms here. And without bouncing, we're just gonna hold. Okay, so we're drawing into the heart. The knees are pressing apart. You're rooting down into the foundation of the four corners of your feet. And you stretch up through your spine and up through the top of your head. Hopefully you're feeling something is happening here. Feeling your upper body getting strong, the lower body's doing a lot of work here. And on your next inhalation, reach up and then release your arms, turn your feet in and step in. And come back to eyes closed, mountain pose. Full, slow, deep breaths. Great. Let's come on down to a seated position now. So you can either sit in a chair, or if you've got a place to sit on the floor, I always recommend sitting up on a blanket or a cushion or a pillow or something, because when we don't have something under the hips, here's what tends to happen when you sit. We get that slouch again. And what really gets overstretched is the lumbar spine, the low back tends to round in a forward position. And sometimes your knees will be way up high if you're trying to sit all the way on the floor. So you take a blanket or a big beach towel or pillow or cushion, and you put it right underneath your sitting bones. And as soon as you elevate your hips, even just a couple of inches, it lets you draw your low back in. It allows your knees to settle down and you feel more supported. Okay, so there's a couple of different basic seated postures we'll go over today. The first one is called Sukhasana, which is the easy seat. It's not that easy. So it's just a cross-legged seat and you're trying to get your knees over your ankles. Yeah. Okay. And we probably all sat like this when we were little kids and thought nothing of it. And now that we're grown-ups, it's like, wow, this is really, can be a bit of a challenge. One thing that can help is to move your hamstring muscles out to the sides a little bit. So you just kind of lean over, you pull the muscles out towards the sides. It gives you a little more space. And then the upper body alignment is the same as when we're in mountain pose. So we want to lift up through the heart, take the shoulders back, glide your throat back. And we feel for that vertical channel moving along the length of your spine. Let your hips root down into the floor and lift up through the top of your head up towards the sky. And just sitting still, sitting straight with intention and staying focused on the breath, this can be, quite a challenge. You'll start to feel the muscles in your back working after a few minutes. Just stay with the breath. And then a second option for sitting on the floor, if this is too tight, right, you can take your knees wider and line your feet up one in front of the other. And then it's almost like the tops of the feet come to the floor. A little hard to do in the chair, but I think for this, maybe bring the soles of your feet together. Yeah, and that's gonna be more like a bound angle pose if you're sitting in the chair. And if you're on the floor, you're trying to stack ankle, ankle, belly button. And again, we lift up through the spine, take the shoulders back, head back, take a few full deep breaths here. Keep drawing your lower back in. And then whichever leg position you've chosen, we can do a seated twist. So we're gonna twist to the right. So take your left hand to your right leg. Take your right hand behind you. And if you're in the chair, you're gonna hold on to the chair somewhere. You can hold the back of the chair or the side of the chair, whatever is easy for you to grasp. Everybody's chairs are different. If you're sitting on the floor, you bring your right hand behind you, close to your body, and you push your fingertips down onto your blanket. Then again, lift up, take a deep breath, rise up through the spine, and as you exhale, try to turn just your ribs and your shoulders. Try to keep your hips facing forward. You can even push your right leg into your left hand a little bit more. And when you breathe in the twist, you're gonna feel your abdominal organs get a nice little massage. Hopefully that feels good. And to come out of the twist, take a deep breath in and lift up through your spine as you face forward. Good. Bring your hands back to the legs. So coming out of the twist, it's important to rise up on your way out so that if you're in the twist and you come out and you're scrunching, it's going to compress the discs in the spine. We want to avoid that whenever possible. All right, so let's go to the second side now. Take a deep breath in, lift up, make space. And then we'll take right hand to left leg, left hand behind you, either holding the chair or on the floor. Inhale, rise up. Exhale and turn. Turn the ribs, turn the shoulders. You can turn your head. You want to try to keep your chin parallel to the ground. And take those deep, cleansing breaths down into your belly. And then to come out of the twist, remember, inhale, lift up and unwind and face front. So I like to think of a sponge or a dish rag, right? And it gets dirty, and what do? You squeeze it, you wring it out. That's like our twist. We're wringing ourselves out. We're releasing, whatever's going on, any negative thoughts or any, emotions to get trapped in the body. And then we unwind the twist. You unsqueeze that sponge, and all this fresh, clean water can come in, and we feel better. So twists are really healthy and wonderful poses to practice. All right, so we're almost out of time. So we've made it to Savasana. And Savasana is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the pose of deep relaxation. If you're in the chair, I invite you to just scoot all the way back and rest against the back of the chair. Maybe put a pillow behind your head if you've got a high-backed chair. And if you don't have a chair, you're on the floor, you're gonna come down to lie on your back. Now you can use whatever props you need to feel supported. So something under your head, something under your legs can feel really good. Like if you've got a folded blanket, you can put it just above your knees, right under the thighs. And if you're using something behind your head, use the least amount that you really need, because we don't want to be forcing the head forward, right? We want to release the neck back and down. You can take your hands, palms face up, your arms are a little bit away from your body, and let your feet just roll out to the sides, just however they want to do. And then close your eyes. And let your breath become slow, comfortable, effortless. Become aware of your whole body, and if you notice any parts of your body that feel tense or tight, consciously release that tension. Relax your feet and your toes. Relax your ankles and your shins. Soften around your knees. Release your thighs, the thigh bones. Reach towards the floor. Let your hips feel heavy. Your whole pelvis settles down. Relax your belly. Relax your chest. And bring your attention down into your fingers. Soften fingers, thumbs. Soften your palms. Relax your wrists and forearms, elbows. Relax your upper arms. Relax your shoulders. Become aware of your neck and let go of any tension in your neck and your throat. Release your jaw. Soften your mouth, your tongue, your lips. Relax your ears. Relax your eyes and your nose. And let go of any tension in your forehead or the top of your head. And for the next minute or two, just allow yourself to rest in stillness, feeling the gentle flow of your breath as it comes effortlessly in and out. Now begin deepening each breath. With each breath in, bring in a sense of refreshing energy, rejuvenation. Feel the vitality of your body and your mind. And start to awaken your body with some easy movement. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe take your arms up overhead and give yourself a big long stretch. And then when you're ready, please bend your knees. If you're lying down, you'll carefully roll to your side and rest on your side for a moment. You can make a pillow with your arms for your head. And then very carefully use your arms, push down into the floor, and come back up to your seated position. Come back to that really great seated alignment. Head, heart, hips, shoulders are back, ears in line with your shoulders. Close your eyes and observe how your practice today changed you in any way? Did something open up? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel more focused? These are all benefits of practicing yoga. And each time you practice, you might feel different at the end. Let's bring our hands together at heart center and bow your head, looking in towards your own heart. Offer yourself a moment of gratitude for taking the time today to contribute to your own wellness, your own well-being through the practice of yoga. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.